Hi guys, Harrison back at it once again for a brand new video for you guys, and welcome to episode 14 of our FIFA 12 Road to the Championship. I know you guys wanted to talk to me more about subject topics and things like that, so I thought let's talk about the Premier League season. As you obviously know, it kicks off this coming Saturday, so I thought I'd dedicate this 18-minute commentary to talk about, in my opinion, the top 6 contenders for the league championship. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and you'll be able to enjoy my breakdown of the top 6 teams, in my opinion, that'll be vying for league contention. It's the closest league I think we've ever had, and there's a lot of teams that have gone up and down the ladder when it comes to players and things like that. So let's talk about Manchester City first, the reigning champions. Manchester City, they were first on offence last year, they were first on defence last year. By the way, offence and defence, in my opinion, just means goals scored and goals conceded. We'll get that out there from now. What Manchester City have, which no other team has really, is an immense amount of squad depth. City have got quality players in just about every position you can think of or need. For example, they have 3 world-class centre-backs in Kolo Touré, Vincent Kompany, their captain, and Joleon Lescott. They have 2 right-backs, Zabaleta and Richards, 2 left-backs, Clichy and Kolarov. And it just goes on and on and on. They have 4 decent strikers there. And while they haven't signed anybody, but they've been linked with big names, I mean, their only signing so far has been Jack Rodwell, and that's only to supplement the English threshold of talent they have to have in the team. They don't need to spend money on anybody because they're already set. I mean, dance with the one that brung you. Their team is already loaded enough. In my opinion, they should really have this league wrapped up again next year by probably 4 to 7 points. I think they have more than enough depth in their squad to be able to win the league next season at a cakewalk. The only issue is some of the egos within that team, because there's guys in there who want to play, who know they're not going to get in. Adam Johnson's made it a concern that he thinks he should be playing more often. There's been issues about Kolo Touré, that he'll leave. Nigel de Jong's another one. So you want to try and bring in Daniel De Rossi, etc., etc. So maybe egos could disrupt things here again, but Man City have got more than enough talent to easily win this league, in my honest opinion. Let's move on. Manchester United. Manchester United were last season 2nd on offence and 2nd on defence. Considering the lack of depth Manchester United have got right now, as well as the fact that they didn't have Vidic for 90% of the season, somehow they only let in 33 goals. Guys like Johnny Evans really stepped up to the plate last year, and Rooney did have another good year, having 27 goals overall in the league, as well as 14 assists, which is just excellent and world class for a guy of his ability and talent. So fair play to him. Also, they're going to get Vidic back for the new season, which is almost as good as a new signing. They also made a great value signing for Shinji Kagawa, the perfect kind of player Manchester United need as an attacking midfielder who can break up the play, who can feed in killer passes, and just hopefully will open up more creative lanes for players like Nani, Valencia, and obviously others playing up front like Rooney or a Danny Welbeck, Chicharito, etc. Will United sign Robin van Persie? I don't know. I don't think they should. I think they've got enough striking talent there. I'd rather have that 22 million or so go somewhere else, somewhere more beneficial. Because striker is a small need, but it's not a big one, because Danny Welbeck is getting better. Chicharito is a very nice impact sub as well. I'd rather see some of that money go towards the defence, because the problem is their defence is getting older together. Vidic is now 30 years old. Ferdinand is 33, Ever is 32, and they still don't have a designated right back. The young talent coming through will be enough to supplement that for now, as in Chris Smalling, Phil Jones. The Silver twins, Raphael and Fabio, I think are dodgy, but they have Jones, they have Smalling, they have Johnny Evans there. They have guys who can fill in the gaps for now, but a bit more proven quality at those angles wouldn't hurt either. But they're Manchester United. You always know they've got a chance of winning the league, and you always know they could be potentially dangerous. And Sir Alex Ferguson, as you know, is just an exceptional manager, and he'll always get the best out of his team, no matter what happens. Not to mention, Paul Scholes coming back next year could potentially be huge for them, considering the amount of creativity and passing ability that he had for the team last year. Something that's definitely worth noting. Moving on to who came third last season, Arsenal. They were third in the league on offence and 8th on defence. Obviously the defence had some small issues, mainly because they were caught out a lot. Guys like Christopher Marlon, while he is world class in his quality as a centre back, had a habit of playing too far up the line and he'd get caught on the counter attack. But the big question for Arsenal is will Robin van Persie, their star man who had 30 goals for them last season, will he stay on for this season? I don't know. I think Arsenal would like to keep him, but the problem is, do they cash out on him now? Here's the issue, because if they keep him for another season, he could walk away. He's not re-signing right now, so he could walk away from that team for absolutely nothing at the end of last year. And do Arsenal want to take that kind of risk on their star man and their key player? They have obviously compensated for this just in case it does happen by signing Olivier Giroud from French League champions Montpellier and Lucas Podolski from Cologne for 25 million in total, and the great transfer of Santi Cazorla from Malaga, given their financial issues, this for a club record 16.5 million. So it's clear for the first time Wenger is showing some ambition and he really wants to win the league next season. Because when was the last time Wenger spent 40 million plus in a transfer window? Don't worry, I'll wait. The thing is as well, the other plus side for Arsenal is that they're a better team than people give them credit for, and they've got young talent in key positions. Laurent Koscielny showed great signs of improvement last season. Walker is still only 23 years old. Oxlade-Chamberlain proved at the Euros that he can play on a world-class level. So clearly they've got talent in key areas. Chesney as well is another one worth mentioning. Arsenal have got a really nice blend of experienced guys who are proven articles, as well as young talent that's only going to get better. They have a very good chance of retaining that third place. But I'm not sure if Giroud, Podolski and Cazorla will be enough to take them over the top yet. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm definitely liking what Arsenal are doing right now. If it's even more important if they can keep RVP. If they can mount a solid challenge for the league title, they can afford to lose RVP for nothing next year. At the end of the day, he's 29 years old. His star might be beginning to fade. Next up, and the fourth place team from last season, Tottenham Hotspurs. They were fourth on offence last year and they were fifth on defence. Somehow. Without Ledley King and without a proper world-class centre-back, Tottenham had the fifth best defence in the league. And it's only going to get better now they've signed Jan Vertonghen from Ajax. And that's a quality transfer for just £9.5 million. The problem was with Tottenham, they never had a guy like Ledley King fully fit and healthy regularly. So they were always suffering at the back and they needed a proven article as centre-back. And Jan Vertonghen clearly is that guy who can play anywhere on the defensive line or even play in midfield if need be. Obviously, Andre Villas-Boas is their manager. I think he's got a better chance of being a success at Tottenham, who have got more young talent, who have a better club values than what Chelsea do when it's all run by Abramovich. That is definitely going to be a concern. But AVB has got a better team and a better mould of players to work with than what he had last year. And I'm also glad that he's able to tie up Gareth Bale to a new contract, and he's managed to get Van der Vaart to stay as well. Gylfi Sigurdsson was red hot for Swansea last season, and they managed to sign him as well for just £8 million. So another very solid transfer from Tottenham there. The question mark is over Luka Modric, and will he stay or will he be sold to Real Madrid right at the death? I don't know. Again, £40 million is a very high estimation to put on Luka Modric. But at the same time, I think they should sell Modric, in my opinion. I think if they can get 35 to 40 million out of Luka, they can put that towards a goalkeeper, which they badly need. I mean, Brad Friedel is 40 years old now. He's solid, but he's not world class, and they're going to leak goals by Brad Friedel because he's not going to be as good as what he used to be. And they need a striker. Who is Tottenham's out-and-out striker who's going to get them 15 to 20 goals a season? Jermaine Defoe is inconsistent. Pavlyuchenko doesn't play enough. That's their two main guys, and neither of them are really working out. They need a more definitive striker. Adebayor, we don't know whether he's going to re-sign or not. He's asking for a ton of wages, considering what he was getting at Man City, even though he was never playing. That could be an issue as well. Maybe they should sell Modric and invest in a couple of guys like maybe Hugo Lloris, the goalkeeper from Lyon, and perhaps maybe Loic Remy from Marseille, or another striker along that same role, maybe Kurzakov in the Russian league or something like that. He can work with Pavlyuchenko, but you know, something like that could work out. We'll have to wait and see. But without question, without any shadow of a doubt, it's definitely a thing where Tottenham are contenders this year. They've got better in key areas. They've retained much of their talent in other areas. It's just that little bit more that might make them a true contender. Turning my page of A4 notes over, we move on to Chelsea. Definitely the most interesting team of this off-season. The reigning Champions League holders and winners after beating Bayern Munich. Somewhat of a fluke, but they got there in the end. Lol, lol, lol. But Chelsea last year were 5th on offence. They were joint 6th on defence with 13th place Sunderland. Interesting. But what Chelsea have done more than any team in the league this year is spend money. Obviously the big one was the £32 million transfer of Eden Hazard. I mentioned this before, I think a couple of episodes back on FIFA, about the risk that buying Hazard is right now. Yes, he's young, he's only 21 years old. He's extremely young. He had his best ever season this year at Lille. He had 20 goals and 18 assists. Clearly the guy can play. Is he worth spending 32 million on? That's a big question. He's 21, he's not the finished article. He might take time to adapt to this league. There's a lot of question marks on Hazard, and it's a very risky transfer because we don't know how good he really is yet. The French league isn't the most competitive league in the world. There's not a lot of strong defences in that league. So Hazard having to come in and adapt to the Premier League is questionable. I mean, maybe there were rumours about them signing Hulk for a long time. I think Hulk would have been a better fit to the Premier League because he's bigger and stronger. Much of the same speed and technique as well, though. So maybe Hulk would have been a better idea. But Hazard, I think, is very good. I'm very high on Hazard. I like him a lot. He's an excellent guy to play with on FIFA. Just saying. But it's just in general, I think there's a lot of risk in the Hazard transfer. And it is a bit of a hazard, pardon the horrible joke there and the pun, but they've also signed Marin, which was a nice value deal at 7 million, Oscar for 25 million, and be honest, how many people really heard of Oscar from Internacional before Chelsea bid for him? That one really did come out of nowhere, but in my opinion, I think Oscar is going to be the long-term replacement for Frank Lampard, who's 33 years old. He's reaching the twilight of his career now, and to be honest, his skills are starting to decline. And I think Chelsea have already got one talented Brazilian deep-line playmaker in Ramirez. I think they like Ramirez so much they thought, let's try and go after someone else like that. So they bought Oscar. I wasn't sure on the Oscar transfer, and at that fee I thought, well, that seems a bit ridiculous because Brazilian clubs have a knack of putting high price tags on people. But he's had a really good Olympic campaign. I don't know how many of you saw the Olympics or how many saw the Olympic football and saw Brazil, but Brazil played extremely well offensively, not so much defensively. But on offense, they look really nice. And Oscar had a really good Olympic campaign. He looks really good. He looks right at home with other top Brazilian talent like Danilo and Neymar and Hulk and guys like that. So, really, I think Oscar could be the real deal here. He looks like a really solid playmaker for them. Who knows, they might be going for Victor Moses as well for depth. They need a right winger, in my eyes. Florian Malouda clearly isn't that guy anymore. He wasn't the player he used to be 3 years ago when he was a world-class winger. I don't think he is that anymore, so that's going to be a bit of a concern. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But Victor Moses will be a nice depth signing. One thing to also bear in mind is that Di Matteo got the starting job, which is excellent news for them. They need a guy like Di Matteo to motivate them. But they better hope Torres steps up this season, and Sturridge better be more consistent, because they've lost 2 of their strikers. Drogba, who obviously has gone to China to play football, and Romelu Lukaku, who's now on loan at West Bromwich Albion. Finally, Liverpool. They were 8th last year. They were 11th on offence. They were joint 3rd, though, on defence. That's the thing with Liverpool. They've got Brendan Rodgers now, who's going to be an excellent manager. But their defence was very good last year. They only gave up 40 goals. The thing was, they lost a lot of 1-0ers. They lost a lot of 1-goal games. They lost 14 games in total last season. They're definitely a better team than people give them credit for. And people need to bear in mind they're getting Lucas back next year, who's an excellent defensive midfielder and an excellent ball-winning midfielder. The problem with Liverpool is they've got a lot of dead weight within that club, a lot of guys that need to shift, and a lot of guys that signings haven't worked, such as Charlie Adam, Jordan Henderson, who's still young, but Stuart Downing really hasn't worked out. And Luis Suarez needs help up there. Clearly, I just read out to you, Liverpool were 11th in the league on goals scored this past season. They need someone to give Suarez some help. Suarez is not really a definitive out-and-out striker. He plays more behind the front man. Steven Gerrard as well keeps getting injured, can't play 38 games a season. That could be a problem for them. So they need more attacking help. Fabio Borini was an okay transfer at 10 million, but you can't expect him to plug in there and immediately score 15 goals. He's only had 1 good season, and that was at Roma for half a year. So clearly Suarez needs some help up there, because he'll act as a great playmaker, but they need more. Andy Carroll might be going on loan. We still don't know if that's going to be confirmed or not, but clearly he just hasn't hit the Premier League form he had when he was at Newcastle. And of course people are going to label him with that £35 million price tag. But if anyone can do it, Brendan Rodgers can, and he had a really good first season in the Premier League with Swansea. And I think he could be the right man for Liverpool and to make that team better, because they have a lot of tools. They have the financial help. They're going to get that from FSG, the Fenway Sports Group, who also own the Boston Red Sox baseball team. Just thought I'd get that in there, because I'm a Boston Red Sox fan. Blah, 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 blah. But whatever. So yeah, Liverpool definitely need some offensive help, because they're okay on defence. Getting Lucas back will be a big help as well, and Brendan Rodgers could be the man for them. Anyway, that's enough of my top 6 contenders. Are there any other teams you want me to talk about for this Premier League season? Drop me a comment and I might be able to squeeze one more FIFA episode out before the season begins. We'll have to wait and see. No guarantees, but hopefully we'll be able to squeeze one of those in before the end of the season. I hope you enjoyed this Premier League preview and review. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, and I will catch you guys next time. I've been Harris101. Thank you very much for watching, and sayonara.
Well, you wonder how they'll recover now, what it will mean for the